Hello, I'm Corporal Sean Vinson, and welcome to On the Beat, brought to you by the men and women of the Baltimore County Police Department. This program brings you the latest information on public safety issues in our community and police department operations. In today's program, we will sit down with Officer Gary Doucette of the Towson Precinct's Outreach Unit and discuss some crime prevention techniques during the winter and holiday seasons. Next, we're going to go on a ride-along with our Regional Auto Theft Task Force. And finally, we need someone out there to help us solve the senseless murder of Diamonic Rayshawn Arca Jones. Please enjoy the show. On the beat. On the beat. With the holiday season quickly approaching, more of us will be visiting our local shopping centers. Also, with the cold weather, some of us will make the mistake of leaving our cars running unoccupied so that the interior can warm up. Here today is Officer Gary Doucette of the Towson Precinct's Outreach Unit. Officer Doucette will give us some great advice that we can all keep in mind. Thank you, Officer Doucette, for being on the show today.
Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's talk a little bit about an event that you're going to be involved in on December 19th, Kindertime Toy Drive. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's put on by Mr. Pete O'Neill, a cameraman for a local television station here, where law enforcement officers from all over the state get together and we distribute toys to needy children and families within Baltimore City. Two places of interest that would capture anyone's heart is the Kennedy Krieger and the Ron McDonald House. And I encourage any law enforcement officer who's available to please join us on Thursday, December 19th at Hubert Memorial Church. Okay. It's a worthwhile event.
Great. And can you talk about what the role that you play or that our officers play in the event?
Well, what I play and all the officers throughout the state is we distribute toys to needy children and needy families in Baltimore City. We load up the toys in police cars. And one of the most exciting things about it is we'll go down the street with all our lights and sirens on, and the community comes out and they see us and they're looking like, what's going on, what's going on? But we'll stop and tell them what's going on, and they're like, oh my goodness. And they see us in a different light this time. We're not going our lights and siren arresting people. We're going out there distributing toys to families for the Christmas holiday to make it better for children and families.
All right, that's great. And what is it like to see the look on the kids' faces?
Let me tell you, if it doesn't touch your heart, then something's wrong. Because every year I do this, it just gets better and better. I'm not saying better for the children. I'm saying it's better because, you know, it brings joy to the children, joy to the family, and it also strengthens relationship with the community and the police. Not that that's what we're for. We're there to make sure that the children and families have a good holiday season.
That's great, and thank you for your involvement in that program.
Anytime,
look forward to
anytime.
It.
Thank you.
So in this time of the year, we see an issue that in the morning, your windows have ice covered, don't feel like sitting out there in the cold. What's the problem with me just starting my car and going right back in the house?
Well, the problem with that is people leave their engines running with the keys in them, and that's the opportunity for someone to get in your car and drive away with it. And when that happens, your vehicle is now stolen, now with the keys in the vehicle, and that gives the person who stole your vehicle or persons opportunity to use your vehicles to commit other crimes, and also you have valuables inside your vehicle, and then you can be a victim of also auto theft, and you can be a victim of identity theft. So it's a lot of variables that come into that when you leave your car running. And also you can also get a citation for that. It's $70 and 1 point on your driving record.
Okay. And, you know, some of the excuses that we may hear is that car thieves aren't out 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. That's just not true.
Oh, no, they're out there all the time. Not 6 or 7. They can be out anytime. If you're warming your car up and they know it, they're just walking down the street, they'll pull on your handle, and if your car's unlocked, that's the opportunity for them to get in it.
Absolutely. And you had mentioned having packages inside of our vehicle. What's some of the tips that we should take when we're out shopping or if we have a lot of packages inside our vehicle?
I encourage you to put those packages in the trunk of your vehicle. And if you have a lot of packages, go to your vehicle and put them in your trunk and so it's out of place so no one will see them. Then go back into the store and complete your shopping. I mean, a lot of packages, and plus you're opening yourself up. If you're carrying a lot of packages, someone can see that and you could be a target for a crime.
Okay. And what about any valuables? Same kind of thing, if I have my valuables, shouldn't leave cell phones in the car or something like that?
I tell people all the time, if I can see inside your vehicle, so can the bad guy. Leave everything, put everything in your glove box or in your armrest or in the trunk of the vehicle. Don't leave anything exposed. Because if they can see inside it, if you can see inside it, so can they. So, you know, your car is open. I mean, it's right there. All they have to do is look inside, and there it is.
And one thing that some people might think is common sense, but we see a lot, leaving your keys inside the car and leaving your car unlocked.
Yes, people leave spare keys in their vehicles, and thieves a lot of times check inside the glove box or inside the armrest, and they find the spare key. They're not going to take the vehicle right then. They're going to come back later on and take the other vehicle that you have the spare key for.
Okay. And you work in our Towson area, a lot of shopping centers, the big mall in that
Yes,
area.
Sir.
What's some of the tips that we can talk about that I should be aware of when I'm out shopping by myself with my family?
Of course, we always tell people to park in a well-lit area. And if you aren't able to park in a well-lit area, make sure you keep anything of value, like I said before, in the trunk, out of the way. If you see anything suspicious, notify mall security if you're at Towson Town Center, for example. But if you're at a regular shopping center, you see something suspicious, a lot of people have cell phones, use 911 to call and let us check it out to find out what's going on. Don't think that we won't respond or we're too busy. Call us, that's what we're there for. Especially during the holiday season.
Absolutely. And with the upcoming season, a lot of us will be traveling, we'll be out of town. What's some tips that you could give as far as when we're leaving our house for an extended period of time?
You know, if you're leaving your house for an extended period of time, if you have a newspaper, if you have mail come to your house, contact the post office or the newspaper, say, hey, not to deliver anything, and let your neighbors know that, hey, I'm going out of town for a few days. Can you keep an eye on my house? And if you have a burglar alarm, notify your alarm company where you're going and a number that they can get in touch with you. Because a lot of times we get burglar alarms and the door's open and we try to call the homeowner, they don't have a number. So update your number with your alarm company so we as the police are able to get in touch with you. We know you're on vacation. We're not trying to disrupt your vacation, but just have a number we can contact you and say, hey, your door was open or unfortunately there was a burglar at your home. Who can we contact? And that's what we need. The information that you have helps us.
Okay. 20 years ago when you and I were young officers on the job, they used to have a thing where you could call the precinct and tell the precinct that you were going to be out of town.
Yes, we still have that.
Okay.
Yes, we still have that. You know, 34 years when I started, we had that, and now we still have it. Call your local precinct, or you can call your outreach unit and say, hey, I'm going out of town. I'd like to fill out a vacant house slip. And that postcard will know that your home is vacant, and if something's going on, he or she can be aware and keep a check of that location.
Great. And what if I'm home looking out the windows and I know my neighbor, but I see somebody suspicious looking through the windows or something like that?
Well, automatically call 911. Please let us check it out. A lot of times it could be something that it's a friend or anything like that. And then sometimes it could be somebody up to no good. We encourage you to call. So if you don't call, then we can't respond. We encourage you to call 911. Let us check it out. Let us find what's going on. If it turns out it's a neighbor or relative, that's fine. But if it turns out it's somebody who's up to no good or something like that, then that's fine too, and we'll deal with that. But if it's something, like I said before, it was a friend and you know, it's a mistake, that's fine. Then we can deal with that. But let us check it out and find out what's going on first.
That's great. And one more last thing that you had mentioned was turning our mail off, or you could contact or go online. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, you can go online, or if you're close by your post office, go to your local post office. And say, hey, I'll be out of town, so can you have the mail just stay here at the post office till I get back? Or what I normally do is I can have my neighbor say, hey, can you pick my neighbor up while I'm gone? My neighbor. Can you pick my mail up while I'm gone for a couple of days? And my neighbor will pick it up, and when I get back home, I'll go next door and get my mail, and everything's good.
Great. And Officer Doucette, knowing you, you would pick up a neighbor too.
Oh,
if you
sure, I
needed to.
would. No question. Anytime.
Absolutely.
That's not a problem.
Thank you for joining me on the show today, and thank you again for this great information, and thank you for everything that you do for the department and for Kindertime.
My pleasure. Always.
Thank you.
Always.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. If you want more information and crime prevention techniques, you can search the police department's website. Next on the show, we're going to have an interview with Sergeant Isaac Hester and learn more about our Regional Auto Theft Task Force and learn how we all can keep our vehicles more safe.